Day trading recap, July 11th, 2019. Alright, so CVS was on a lot of watch lists today because it gapped up in the pre-market. You can see on this chart, the daily candle chart, you can see that it was gapping up today. I believe that was on earnings. I believe so. Maybe not. Maybe it was... no, it wasn't on earnings. Earnings is ways away, about a month away. So just gapped up on something, who knows what, but it gapped up and then it dropped, and a lot of people were shorting it today. I was not. You could see this very big topping tail in the first 5-minute candle. That would have been a good indication that it may not continue up from after gapping up. And then you could see it had a couple little rising candles with bottoming tails, and then a big topping tail on this negative candle, and from there it just kind of dropped all day. If you got in a short here, 59.34, you could have ridden it down over $2. But that was a tough one. I don't even know what the spread was on. I think the spread was probably fine. It's got a big float, but did not get into that. I had a bad trade today in Rheology Holdings. And I'll show you what I did. So this one, I was watching it because it came up in my pre-market because it also gapped a little bit down today. Or no, yeah, it gapped a little bit down. And so I was watching it for possible recovery. And it just... oh, this was not a... I'm sorry. This was not a gapper. I do not believe. I think this was in my no gap movers. I think that was where I found it. RLGY, whatever it was it actually came in the pre-market where I noticed it. So it's kind of messy early on in the day. Then there's this cross, the 8 and the 20. I didn't get in here. This probably would have been the better place to get in, about 580, because it went up to about $6. I got in later here, expecting the break of the high of the day, maybe possibly recovering some of that loss from yesterday, moving back up. But it did not continue. It topped off, came back down, and I eventually exited my shares. So that was it's just when you see this whip action, even though the candles are still kind of smooth here, the overall action is very hard to determine. It's kind of all over the place. You like more smooth moves where it's moving in one direction and then kind of moving down slowly. This is a bounce here, but it just couldn't hold it. And also the market was kind of all over the place today. It was up for a little, it was down. It was kind of hard to read. So just not a great trade on my part. I also had another bad trade in STLD. This showed up. This is a trade ideas watch list that I built, or a scanner that I built, that looks for stocks that are basically above this VWAP, volume weighted average price, and approaching the 200 moving average on a 5-minute chart. A lot of times when they break, they tend to pop over that, but it depends on a lot of different factors. I'll show you one that came up in that particular scan that was amazing today. That was INSIM. Now look at this. I was alerted. This came up on my scan at 10:12. So right here, right when it's breaking this 200 moving average. Look where it went from 10:12, about 23. The alert was at $23.18, right? So right there, right at the 200 moving average. Look at how far up it went. From 23.18 all the way to 24.55, well over $1. I hesitated, I didn't get in, and I was kicking myself all day because this was just an amazing, just straight up move. You don't see this very often. A lot of times if it pops, you get a quick up and then a little bit of regression, maybe a big regression. That's why with the stocks that I usually see in this scanner, I usually try and scalp. So this one, if I had gotten in here, I might have taken it out probably like right around here-ish, 23.42 from 23.25. Maybe not held on much longer, but I just was kicking myself for not taking that trade. That was a beautiful one. And you can also see in here that it was high relative volume. Look at 4.67 as far as its relative volume goes. So that was a great trade if you got it. I didn't. There's also this little doji here, this little indecision doji, which followed by a bunch of green candles, which should have tipped me off that it was on its way up. But that's just too bad. So yeah, that was a shame. And then this one came up, and STLD came up at 11.52. And actually, it came up earlier in that, I believe. Did it come up twice in that scan? Yeah, 1042. That's when I got in, and it just couldn't continue that momentum up. See how it was above the 200, and then it just kept losing it, and then eventually it failed. So that was bad. But the one trade that I did take that worked out was a short of WestRock packaging and containers, and that worked out really well. This was just down all day. If you look at the yearly, there's not much to see here. A little topping action, a down candle, but it was just, this was a momentum play because it was just dropping big time towards these moving averages here. And I saw that. I saw how nice and tight it was with this 8 EMA. That's, you like to see that. That's, these smooth movements are the ones where you, a little bit more predictable, right? If it's continuing here and it keeps hitting its head on these moving averages, then you can kind of predict that, hey, if it's continuing down, it'll keep using those as resistance, and it did. Broke above 8 EMA briefly here, but the 20 was here to rescue it. So I got in late. I got in right here at about 1 o'clock, a little after 1, and I got in at what was it, 36.42. Kind of went sideways after I got in. I got a little nervous here. Then it topped off here and continued down, and I took out all my shares at 36.16. So that was a really good trade. That was a 26-cent drop, and it made up for some of my losses early. Unfortunately, I'm still down on the day, but I'm still not a lot, really not a lot. So this really rescued me. I had 2 bad trades. And this one brought me almost back to break even. So sometimes you just need that one good trade. I was considering not getting out my shares here because I thought maybe it could continue down to 36. But then I said, you know what? I just don't want to risk it. It's been down so much. At some point, it's going to snap back. And I just didn't want to get caught missing out on profits there. So I took it up. My first target was 36.16. That's exactly where I took it out. I said, you know what? That's a win. So that was it. WestRock basically saved my day. Yeah, I have been live streaming in the morning. I stream usually my pre-market scans and one of my charts showing which ones I'm looking at. So if you're interested in trade ideas, definitely take a look. It's free. Just take a look at my scans. If they help you out, they help you find some pre-market movers, then maybe consider taking out a subscription. It's really the best software out there. So. For day traders, and really for any kind of trader, but especially for day trading, it is so useful. I would not have found this WestRock if I didn't have this nice 15-minute new low scan. It just kept. It's probably still popping up on this one. There it is. It's still showing up. 117 alerts today. So that was definitely a good alert there from that scan. So yeah, hopefully be back tomorrow, which is Friday, to end the week on a positive note. Hope you had a good day trading.